Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. I'm your host, Katy Ray, and I am joined with Christy King, whose last name is actually my last name in English, because King and Ray both mean king in Spanish and English. You're welcome. Christy, thanks for joining.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
So I originally wanted you on just because you're an amazing teacher. And I love having teachers on. I just wanted to chat with you about being a music teacher and all that jazz. But also there's a lot of big things happening in your life that we get to discuss.
Yes.
You're making moves, but kind of let's talk about how you got on the journey of being a teacher.
So in 6th grade, I joined middle school chorus because they told me I could exempt out of PE if I did a music class. So I was like, hey, great, I'm there.
Which is so funny because I met Christy at CrossFit. So it's like you didn't want to do activity, but I see you do activity.
No, yeah. I'm not a natural athlete. So CrossFit has been a journey.
Yeah.
I love it now, but yeah, it does not come naturally. So I walked into the chorus room in 6th grade and I had this amazing chorus teacher and she just like took every kid under her wing and loved them and cared for them. And just like the way of coming together as voices as a community was so special to me at such a young age. I did all county and all state honor choirs in middle school. And that's when I decided, I think it was like 7th grade. I'm like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I want to be a chorus teacher.
You have an awesome voice too. Did you know that you could sing when you were smaller?
I was singing when I was small.
Okay.
My parents love to tell the story that I like sang before I spoke. Who knows if that's really true, but you know, parents love their kids. But I was like songwriting from a young age. I just would write music like really young, 4, 5, 6. Just random little songs. And so I always loved music and then really kind of found my passion for it in middle school. Same with high school. I had an amazing chorus teacher. So I was just very inspired and was like, I need to do this for other kids. I need to pass this along.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so that's how I decided.
That's super cool. But you know instruments.
Yes.
So which instrument? You know like the instruments, which is super hard, but how many?
I play piano, guitar, and a tiny bit of ukulele. So voice is like my main instrument, quote unquote. But yeah, I play around a little bit. Is that
what you say? Voice is an instrument in the music world?
It is. Yeah.
And I like to learn terms.
I like to like trick my students and be like, point to your instrument. And often if they're starting out, they'll point to their throat. And I'm like, it's actually your whole body. It's your whole body. Yeah.
Are you going to teach me to sing today?
I could do that.
No.
We can do a little voice lesson. Should we start with some lip trills?
That's really cool though. I love hearing stories about that moment that we like, because everyone's always, you know, when you're super young, they're like, what are you going to be? What are you going to be to kids? Right. And it's like, you had no idea. You literally just wanted to get out of PE.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to join this group.
And it was meant
to get out of PE. Yes. That's what's so cool. I really enjoy that. So, you know, with you are moving soon, right? Yes. And you're leaving a group of children. I feel like you've been there a few years.
Yes, I've been at a high school teaching for 4 years.
Same high school.
Yeah. So this is my 7th year, but 4th year at the high school. And so it's been one of the hardest things to leave my students, especially because when you teach music, you often have them for all 4 years or at least 3 years.
Yeah.
And so it's not like Algebra 2 where you have that one teacher and, you know, maybe they're amazing, but you only get to have them for 1 year. And so it's like pretty cool to watch them grow and develop.
Oh, yeah. And I think music is such a good outlet, especially like now for kids.
Yes.
So that had to be great to be that.
They need
class.
it. I think they needed it, especially during COVID and virtual and simultaneous teaching. And it wasn't, you know, perfect, but I did my best just to like still give them that outlet of like expression and communication, and community is huge. Community is huge.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest challenge for teachers is right now?
There's a lot.
How long do we have? Thank you.
I would say not a challenge, but like the most important thing is connecting with the students because each of them has their own challenges going on. And so making sure that you're not making assumptions and like checking in. And then for me, one of the biggest challenges was getting connected with parents. Yeah. Depending on the family, the parents are not always as involved.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can we you know, work with this child? And when they're not willing to come to a conference or willing to answer a phone, that's really, really hard. So that's been a challenge.
And it's disheartening because you're trying to do it. You know, it takes a village.
Of course.
And you're part of the village. You're not the only village. So you're totally right. There's a lot of parents out there. They're like, they need school because that's like where they are. Like they don't need me. They need school. It's like, no.
Yeah. Like this
they need both. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say too, just the demands. I mean, we all know teachers are doing so much and just the daily stuff, all the garbage that's not the kids. It's never the kids that are the issue, sometimes, but no, for the most part,
they're kids.
They're the kids. They're the joy of my day. The things that you don't love are all the check the box things, and someone's kind of always covering their own butt, and that's why you're doing them. So that's a little frustrating, but yeah. I was lucky to have a pretty good school. I mean, we had a good admin team and good colleagues.
Yeah, but there's challenges everywhere. And I just think we put a lot of pressure on teachers.
Yes.
So thank you for being a teacher. I absolutely adore teachers.
Thank you.
And music teacher at that. I'm going to sing later. So with everything going on too, you recently lost your dad, like through everything. How has that been for you? Because grief is a ongoing battle.
It's so tough. So I lost my dad April 2021. So it's been just a little over a year. It was pretty unexpected. And so I think that was really hard to grapple with. And I'm still young and he was still young. And it's just one of those things that seems so unfair, I guess, for lack of a better word. And, everyone has their own griefs. And I've gone through other various little things where society's not as used to being okay with certain things being a grieving process. Yeah. This one's a little more widely accepted when someone actually dies, but even still, I think we're not accustomed to having those conversations. And I've made a few people uncomfortable. Like, how are you doing? I'm like, not great. Good. Not good at all. Yeah. Like, this is pretty crappy. And not everyone's always okay with that. And so I've just been kind of digging into that a little more.
I actually love that you do that because I think it's super important. We all hide behind this, like mental illness is in all different ways. Like if you're not feeling good mentally, you're not feeling good and you should be able to express that. And I think it's important for you to make people feel uncomfortable because that's where growth happens.
I agree. I think that's where we have those conversations. And that's where people are like, oh, I'm okay now to say that I'm not doing okay. Yeah. Or that I'm going through something, even if it's not grieving, it's something else that we can talk about. And it's not just, hey, how are you doing? I'm good. You know? So, but I'm really lucky. I mean, my husband and my mom and the rest of my family have been so supportive and like literally carrying me through this process. So sometimes you just have to completely rely on the people around you and
ask for support.
Ask for help.
So on your absolute lowest days, what have you noticed has been where you've gone to like get out? Do you pray? Do you rest? Do you what do you do?
I think it depends on the day and like what I'm needing. My go-to is to just keep busy and like clean and organize. And that's not always what I actually need. That's just kind of
probably not. Yeah.
Right. So I've been really trying to be intentional about resting, getting outdoors, love getting outdoors, just going for like a run or like a walk, anything, going to the beach.
With your gigantic dogs.
With my giant dogs. Prayer. I mean, prayer's been harder for me in this season, I'll be honest. It's, people sometimes say that like you need your faith more when bad things happen. And that hasn't been my experience actually. Like, I haven't had a perfect life, but when things were relatively comfortable, it's a lot easier to have a relationship with God. And now that I'm really wrestling with certain questions and why things happen and the things that, people go through when they go through a hard time, it's like, I don't think prayer is a magic wand. And I don't think that God's not a genie that we can ask for things, But I do think that the foundation of my faith is still there. And knowing that my dad is happy and healthy and I will see him again, that does keep me going.
Yeah. I think that's such an important message to say, like, it is really hard during the hard times because you're asking the questions, you're not getting the answers you want, and you're just wondering why, and you always bring just a vibrant energy in any room you're in. So it's not like it's affected how you affect other people, but your realness will actually allow them to be as vulnerable as possible, which is really important. You're not like fake happy, you're just like a naturally nice human. So you're not like, so even though you go through hard times, like bringing that realness to those people kind of open them up to be like, oh, so everything's not perfect in Christy's world. Right. And she's still a good human.
And we're allowed to ask questions. We're 100%. Allowed to not be, not have the answers and not be okay with everything. So.
What's this move for you right now? So let's talk about why you're moving.
Sure. So my husband's in the military. He is in the U.S. Coast Guard. He's an AMT, which stands for Aviation Maintenance Technician. Okay. Which is a fancy way of saying he works on helicopters. Okay. So basically, if people are familiar with the Black Hawk, Coast Guard has their version, which is the Jayhawk. Oh. It's the white and orange ones you see in the sky.
Oh, cool.
So he does the maintenance on them, and then he's also part of the air crew. So he's basically the one when they go on search and rescue missions. He's the guy lowering the rescue swimmer and then pulling the people up that they're saving.
How long have you guys been together?
We have been together for 12 years.
How long has he been in the Coast Guard?
12 years.
Oh, wow.
So we got together 3 months before he joined the Coast Guard.
Oh my gosh, what a journey that is for you.
It has been a journey. So he and I went to youth group together, different high schools. He was a year ahead of me, and we met when I was going in 9th grade. So we were friends for several years.
Yeah, cool.
3 or 4 years before we started dating. So.
Wow. Yeah. That's big too to take on. Just, you know, that's very demanding work. So you're excited about the move.
So yeah,
have you always been, how many moves have you guys made together?
This is going to be our 4th move, the 5th state that I've lived in.
For his job.
So Michigan was the only one that he hasn't lived in because I grew up there for part of my life. Yeah. And then everything else has been for the Coast Guard.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah. We're excited. I think we have gotten in the habit now that he's been in for 12 years of just like every 4 years we have a new place to live and we have a new start. And so that's the exciting part. The really hard part is this is our home and this is where our family is. Yeah. So we have to say goodbye again. We had been away from them for 8 years and now it's like kind of doing that all over again. It's tough.
And what's your goal with that? Do you ever want to just pick a spot? Is he going to retire? Like, is that his goal to retire from there? And okay.
So after New Orleans, which is our next station, we will move one more time, basically.
Okay.
We'll have one last tour before he can retire. So he can retire at 20 years. And then, who knows, he might stay in for a little longer.
Yeah, but
basically he can retire at that point and then we would get to choose where we want to be, which is a wild concept to us, and probably settle down.
Oh yeah, that is a wild concept because you've been traveling, like you're always ready for a move.
We're always, and 4 years goes by so fast.
You
move somewhere, you get settled in for the first year or two, and then next thing you know, you have like a year of actually being there before you start thinking about the next place. It's pretty wild.
So what do you think, what's kind of advice for military spouses?
Well, I'm still learning. I'm still growing in that, but I have had the heart whenever I move somewhere that is my home for that moment. And it's not like a temporary thing, even though in reality it is temporary. When I invest in my community and my people and wherever I'm working or serving, that is where I am. And so I kind of
helps
put it
fill
out
you
of
up.
my head.
Yeah, it helps fill you up.
So someone could call that denial maybe, but I kind of push it out.
I'm going the positive route and saying that fills you up.
Here. But yeah, I think that has really helped me just dig in where we are and explore the area and, pretend like we live there permanently and then we move on. And I think that really helps with getting to know the culture, getting to know the people, and doing new things together.
Yeah. That's hard. Whenever I hear of my friends who spouses are in the military and stuff, I'm like, that has to be hard when you establish and then move and then you establish and then move. But I like your mindset. Also your denial mindset.
Yeah. You have so many friends across the country then. You have so many places to visit.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that.
Blessing, so it really is cool.
It's the experience you're taking in.
For sure.
But do you feel like this one's been a little bit harder because your dad just passed and leaving your family?
It has been a very hard 4 years. It's been good things too, right? We can have both at the same time, but there's been a lot of things that have happened the past 4 years, not just my dad passing, but other various family stuff. And it's been a tough go, but at the same time, I think those things probably would have happened anyway if we weren't living here. So it's better we were with the fam. And I'm so grateful that I got those 3 years, living in the same zip code as my dad. And COVID took away a little bit of that, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But besides that, we got some good quality time. So
yeah, that is that's a way to kind of see it, as you did get that because you were here and you were stationed here. So all right. Well, not sad. I feel like you're so hopeful in things, and I'm just like, hell yeah, New Orleans, and I'm also like, don't go. So with teaching, so first time going into a new school.
Yeah.
What is your it's got to be a little nerve-wracking, right? Because these are kids you've never met before. How do you do your thing? 'Cause it's been 3 years since you've been at a new school? 4 years? 4 years.
Yeah. So when I walked into the high school I just stopped teaching at 4 years ago, I had all this music picked out. I had all these lesson plans planned. And I showed up in front of the kids and handed them stuff, and it wasn't at their level. And I wasted all that time over summer planning when I hadn't met the kids yet. And so now I just have the mindset, I need to meet the students first, see where they're at, see what they're interested in, and then evaluate from there. And so it's really just about where they're at and kind of meeting them there.
Yeah.
And that's my approach. It's just all right, where are we at? What do you guys want to do? And then I go in and try to do my best.
I love that too, because some of those kids signed up so they didn't have to go to PE.
Right. Right. Or they got signed up and didn't want to be there. And sometimes they continue not want to be there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes they come around.
Yeah, and they're like, this is awesome.
Class,
yeah.
I love it. And I have friends now. I'm like, exactly.
What's some of your biggest like triumphs through like hard times? What would you say for yourself? Then for maybe like kids or watching a kid do something.
Yeah.
Like what's some of the things you look back on and you're like, hell yeah, I did that.
I've had so many kids that just needed a minute. Like before class, they'll come to me and say, I'm going through something. Can I just sit in your office for a second? I'm like, yes, baby, go sit in my office. And sometimes they just want to be by themselves, and I'll check in and say, do you want to be by yourself or do you want to talk? More than not, it's they want to talk. And so I'll go in and we'll chat. And I have had like I had a window in my office where I could still see the rest of my class, so I could make sure that, no chaos.
Of course.
But like we're having like a heart to heart, and I don't know. You just hope you're saying the right thing, or you hope you're not saying too many wrong things, and then later they come back months later and say like, you really helped me through a hard time. That's what matters. Like that's what we're here for with these kids.
Safe space. That's
exactly.
it.
Safe space for them to be themselves and for them to feel like they can talk about what's going on
to an adult who's maybe gone through it.
Yeah,
or
100%. And I mean, it's always really beautiful when they say that music has helped them through that too. For some kids, it's not the music, it's just the friends. It's just the people that they feel safe with. But either way, if they come in my classroom and feel a little bit better and a little more like capable of doing life after that, I feel pretty good. So, yeah,
that just made me really happy. And that you had that right away to answer. Like you didn't have to think about it. That's how you know you're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
You're doing it. Woo!
It's the best job.
I mean, you're right.
There's nothing better.
I know.
It's not easy, but it's the best.
You're directly impacting young kids' lives. And you were doing high school, which is like, everyone has like an awkward moment in middle school and high school where you're just like, who am I? And if you don't have that guidance and you have to somehow hype yourself up, I mean, we have trouble hyping our own selves up. Exactly. Can you imagine that age doing, and that's so important. And just having role models that have gone through life who are real with them and that they can just be honest with.
I agree. And I think not every kid is going to be checked in on by the same person. Like some people are going to have another teacher or even another coach or, whatever, mentor of some kind that's going to check in on them. It might not be me that they connect with, but like, I really try to make sure we're not letting kids slip through the cracks. And I've had kids say like, no one has checked in with me, and I've probably missed them too. I know I have, but like, if we can all kind of just try our best, we're going to at least reach them and know that they have a spot to be.
I love that. So from this moment, what do you want my billion listeners to know from this interview today?
Oh, wow. That's a big ask.
It's a big ask.
Okay.
From you, from Christy King, the woman.
I think we're just all trying to do our best, and we just need to love each other better and have more grace for people and not be afraid to ask the hard questions and not be afraid to speak up and say, this is something that I need help with. And that's something I struggle with myself. But I think that's what I'm learning is just we're going to continue to stumble. If we can have a little fun while we do it and be there for one another, I think that's the whole point.
And jam out a little.
Jam out on the way. Pick up an instrument. That's something else. Number 2 is it's never too late to learn how to sing or play an instrument. Damn it,
Christy, I said 1. I'm just kidding. It isn't, right? You're right.
It's not. I mean,
oh my God, that just changed my whole perspective because I want the kids to know an instrument, but I'm like, I want to know an instrument.
You should take lessons. Do it. It is never too late. I've had adult students and I've seen, very elderly adult students that pick up an instrument for the first time, and it's so
they jam out.
Jam out, man. Just do it for fun.
Oh my God, you just totally made my day saying that.
Well, we can work something out here. I
can
do virtual lessons from New Orleans.
I would like to learn the triangle.
Okay, perfect. We can do that like right now. We can do that in a morning.
That's actually.
I think you can shoot a little higher.
Okay. Okay, fine, whatever. Maybe like a tambourine.
Tambourine can, we can do that.
Thank you. Okay, well, you heard it here. Where can we find you?
Ooh.
Not your address, your social.
My social. Yeah, my address.
Social
my
media, not your
social. A campground, so I can't even.
No, I forget. Yes, you're taking RV.
Living in the RV.
Oh my God, I love it. With her gigantic dogs. Please share how large your dogs are.
Okay, so Summer Bear, she was 103
pounds. Is a bear?
Bless her heart. Yeah, she looks like a Florida black bear. And the vet was like, she needs to lose some weight. So we did a very good walking regimen and different food, and now she's down to 65. I'm very proud to report.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a black lab and golden retriever. So she's just got like
she's just
build,
big bone. Let the girl live.
Right.
Let Summer Bear be.
And Dallas isn't as big. She is like a mutt, but she looks kind of like a greyhound. And she's like 45 pounds, but she's all muscle.
Yeah, straight,
muscle,
solid.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me and my dogs at Christine May King. That's where
Living the van life.
Living the RV dream.
Or you should do hashtag RV life or whatever. That's like a huge community.
You know what? I could.
You could.
I could totally.
We'll follow you
I
on
should
that.
just like make a new page.
She'll do it. Yeah, she'll do it. You'll find her here. You can find Christy at Not a Great Whisperer podcast page, at The Real K Ray. All the good things. We're at BK and Creative's new studio. First interview here. Christy was the special interview. But you've been a pleasure. I love chatting with you. I think your attitude, mindset, all the things are amazing, and you're definitely impacting the world. So you're doing exactly what you should be doing.
Well, I think the same about you. I'm so glad we got to meet and work out together.
We do.
I spend more time with you here, but I will be back.
We'll be chatting it up. You'll be teaching me an instrument.
That's right. I'm so excited for our new lesson.
Thanks,
Thanks
Christy.
for having me.